I've never seen a city so wrapped up in a team as it is now.
I've covered this team for 22 years, and I've never seen anything like this.
This team has that something that you need to win.
Haas told me, personally said, that was the longest 5 minutes of my career.
It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
This is unbelievable.
Right then and there is when we knew this might be a team of destiny. We might have a chance to win it all.
There was just this attitude that we're not going to lose tonight.
It was tough to get sleep that night. All you're thinking about was the Stanley Cup and having it in your hands.
For the first time since 1961, the Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup.
The Chicago Blackhawks, an original six franchise with a proud and storied history, were struggling for an identity when Chairman Rocky Wirtz took control in October 2007.
This franchise was voted the worst franchise in sports 3 or 4 years ago.
It was a franchise that was dead, it was forgotten. You couldn't find their games on TV.
You could shoot a cannon through this arena and not hit anybody.
What we were was an irrelevant sport in a terrific city.
I knew from day one that the mission was going to be difficult, the changes were going to be plentiful, and they were going to be swift.
We had to reconnect with our former players. We had to reconnect with our fan base.
We knew we had to get this right.
The renaissance that's gone on here really over the last 3+ years has been, it's been unbelievable.
I've never seen the city so wrapped up in a team as it is now.
It's just the same excitement I remember.
Come the Hawks, the mighty Blackhawk.
Blackhawk fans have had a reason to dig that old jersey out of the closet and come down to the United Center.
When there's a game night, the West Loop here in the city's alive.
You walk around this place. Now, I was downtown yesterday. I see a big bus with a Blackhawk logo on it and one goal across the front of it.
I've covered this team for 22 years, and I've never seen anything like this.
They have turned this town upside down as far as hockey is concerned.
The excitement in the stands carried to the ice as the 2009 Blackhawks rekindled the club's glory, qualifying for the playoffs for the first time in 6 seasons and embarking on a playoff run that shocked the hockey world.
Advancing to the Western Conference Finals, it gave them a lot of confidence in a year where they just felt that if they could make it to the playoffs, that was a huge bonus.
It was a playoff run that nobody really expected.
The late man Hamlet, the shot.
We had a young team, an inexperienced team that was just having fun playing games and winning.
And the Chicago Blackhawks are going to move on to round 2.
We were just excited to be there.
Taves, sharp in front, they score! The Blackhawks are going to the Western Conference Final.
Most of us hadn't played the playoffs before. You get to the conference finals, and it was like, wow, this is awesome.
Chicago met their toughest test, their hated rival, the defending champion Detroit Red Wings.
And a shot, and whacked it, and Frank scores! And the Red Wings are going to the final.
They played a team with a lot of experience, a lot of depth. They were taught a lesson by the Red Wings.
The greatest thing about history is really one thing, and that's learning from it.
We learned what it felt like to lose, and it wasn't a good feeling. To go that far to the conference finals and lose, it's still pretty disappointing. Just kind of reminded us that we needed to work harder, we needed to be better.
To improve, difficult decisions had to be made. The Hawks parted ways with stars Nikolai Habibulin and Martin Havlat in favor of playoff-tested veterans.
We had the youngest team in the league last year, and we were maybe a little bit short on some guys who'd been through those battles.
You need those guys that have been there before and done it. And John Madden's won 2 Stanley Cups.
Attaboy, Brown.
He's the unheralded worker that does the things that don't get the glory, the blocking shots, the face-offs, the penalty killing.
You're playing like you want to score. Yeah. No.
Getting a guy like that is really important for a lot of reasons, not only because of his role on the ice, but how he carries himself, what it is to win.
In addition to the veteran center, the team recruited a pair of Slovak wingers from the rival that eliminated them the prior season.
They went out and they acquired Marian Hossa, Thomas Kopecki, two players that have had NHL experience in the Stanley Cup finals.
Marian Hossa, it's been well documented. You know, he makes the finals 2 years in a row and he comes up short.
One of the more dynamic players in the league, whether he has the puck or not.
Patrick Sharp's pass, bounced up to Hossa, he shot, scored!
Although he didn't start the season until the month of November, when he joined the Blackhawks, you could tell there was a huge impact on what he was able to do.
Hossa's just a great player.
Marian Hossa's in shorthanded. He scored!
We were doing pretty well without him, but when he came back, he just added that whole another presence.
With the new teammates aboard, the Hawks headed to Finland to start the 2010 season.
We had fun with it. It was a great way for our team to bond and get the season off to a great start.
It's about 11 o'clock Chicago time. We're just getting things started on the plane.
Going overseas, it was a good team building experience. I thought that's the best time to do it. You're stuck with each other for 7 or 10 days.
Our veteran free agent acquisition, Mr. John Madden. He's stuck on a team with a bunch of youngsters.
You're with the guys the whole time. It's a long road trip.
We got to hang out with each other in the hotels and on the streets of Helsinki.
That's what you call a seagull in Finland. This is just the ISO cam on toes for the rest of the trip. Taser, why don't you explain to everybody just exactly what you're doing with your hair here? I don't really know either.
Big Sullick from the long slap. He scores! To Bufflin, walks in with a shot, he scores! And the Chicago Blackhawks will wind up with a successful road trip. You take 3 points out of 4.
It's something you don't get to do every year.
Back in Chicago, a tilt with the Calgary Flames marked a defining moment of the young season.
It was a big game on the schedule, and matching up against them in the regular season so early on was kind of a big test for our team to see where we were. Things weren't going good early on.
There's a turnover and a goal. Robin Regier with a shot blocked, the rebound for Nystrom, who scores.
It just seemed like it was goal after goal they were scoring.
McGinley walks it alone and scores. Freddie Bourque right off the faceoff. Jokinen firing a bouncing shot on goal. He scores. The nightmare just gets worse. 5-0 Calgary.
One of those games as a coach, you wonder how do you get down 5-0, and the next thing you know.
Parker holding, shooting one, Kipper's off the save, and they score on the rebound. John Madden gets the goal, and Chicago is on the scoreboard.
Johnny Madden scored a goal to make it 5-1.
Patrick Kane winds it up, he has room. Shooting one, he scores! Kane the other way, breaking with Bufflin over the flame line, put it out in front of Bufflin, he shoots, he scores!
We got 1 and then 2, 3.
Tip, loose, Bolden, off the post, they score!
But we never did give up anytime we were up or down.
And they score! Duncan Keith with a shot, and a tip on the way through, Patrick Sharp. And guess what? Chicago is tied it.
Even if we had a bad period and gave up 3 or 4 goals, there was not one game this season where we didn't feel like we can win.
Versteeg, stolen, Seabrook, called in, shooting one, he scores! Brett Seabrook has won it in overtime.
There's certain moments over the course of the year that stand out. That was definitely a game that will always stick out.
You're losing a game 5-0, and you win the game? That can't happen.
Chicago climbs the mountain. They get to the top and seal it.
From then on, we knew no matter what the deficit was for our team, we knew we could come back no matter what point in the game.
Their confidence carried them throughout the regular season as they paced the Central Division and dueled San Jose for the top record in the conference.
We got out of the gates pretty good. We knew we had a good team.
They had some great streaks, some winning streaks that kind of separated them from the pack.
The Blackhawks have won 8 straight games.
The horn goes, and the Hawks hang on and win. And the Chicago Blackhawks have won 6 games in a row.
They went on long road trips and they won on the road. And every time they faced a top team, they came out and they played really well.
Chance for Sharp to win the game. Patrick Sharp, Hawks win. Then back in front, Taves out at Seabrook. Hawks win. Hawks win.
They took very few nights off, which is difficult to do during an 82-game season.
You got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff. Consistency usually escapes a young team.
The coaching staff did a good job of maintaining focus and and keeping us prepared all season long.
Preparation, resilience, and breakout performances from their budding stars powered a record-setting campaign.
And the 2009-10 Chicago Blackhawks are the winningest team in franchise history.
With 52 wins and 112 points, the Hawks captured their first division title in 17 years and headed into the playoffs as the #2 seed in the Western Conference.
The matchup in the first round for the Blackhawks with the Nashville Predators, I don't think it was one that anybody really felt like they could look forward to. Nashville proved to be a very worthy opponent.
I'm still not convinced that Niemi's comfortable in there. I don't know. I'm not sold that he's into this yet. Chance here, they score! Speaking of the devil, just a looping puck at the front of the net. Niemi fans on it.
Barry Trotz did an excellent job of picking out what he needed to do to be successful, and really early on in that series frustrated the Blackhawks with a stifling defensive type of play and counter-punching what the Blackhawks were doing.
Not out, Dumont holding, leg one in, right side, in, Niemi save rebound, they score!
After a split in Chicago, Nashville took control in Game 3.
And the puck picked off in front to Gagne, stopped by Niemi.
There are certain games that stand out as a coach where you know that why were we so bad, and give Nashville credit the way they were playing, but we just didn't have anything going our way.
I don't think there were too many people that felt that the Blackhawks would be trailing going into Game 4.
Needing a win and a confidence boost, the Hawks turned to Niemi.
You don't want to panic or anything, but I think you start to wonder what happens if you don't get that next game.
Solomon to the goal, and it's saved by Niemi.
I think the way that he played in some of those games built his confidence up. I think it also was a domino effect to his teammates to know that this guy's a big-time goalie.
Patrick Sharp trying to squeeze through a check. He got to the middle. He shoots. He scored! Patrick Sharp! 3-0 Chicago. And that is all she wrote. Niemi with his second shutout of the playoffs. And they're going to take home ice back to Chicago.
Game 5 here was one of those nights where you feel like you're very fortunate, and we got out of that one alive.
Leg one right circle. He scored! David leg one. He shoots. Stopped in front. Led on the rebound. He scored!
It was one of those games where it was back and forth, and Nashville hung around. They knew they couldn't skate an up-and-down game with the Blackhawks, so they had to play a real tight game defensively.
What a bad play by Patrick Kane to start this odd-man rush.
If you look back on the game, no one really mentions what happened there. When they started coming back was when we gave up that shorthanded goal.
Erat scores! The Predators have tied it up. Down back to Erat. He scores! Erat has broken the tie.
What Nashville's done is amazing. They've just quieted 22,000 people. There is no emotion in this crowd at all.
As if things couldn't get worse, they did.
6 attackers for the Blackhawks, directed back in by Hossa, and they pour in after it. Oh my goodness. Hughes went heavily into the boards. There'll be a penalty to the Blackhawks here. That's going to be on Marian Hossa.
Hawks are down. They're shorthanded. Minute left to go in the game. Pretty much the feeling in the building was Hawks are going to be down 3-2 and going to be a must-win in Game 6 in Nashville.
33 to go.
Martin Erat throws the puck back towards the front of the net, looking for an open Jason Arnott. Next thing you know, the Hawks are skating down the ice. Niemi's pulled for an extra attacker, even though they're shorthanded. The Hawks made 3 unbelievable passes.
Sharp in the right half boards. To Seabrook, to Taves, right circle, shoots, save, rebound, score! Patrick Kane! And he ties the score at 4!
It was one of those times when Kane scored, I think everybody in the building just felt, or at least I could feel anyways, that this team has that something that you need to win.
Down a man and score shorthanded to equalize it, and then you still got 4 and change to kill in the overtime.
He's just dying in there, and Haas told me personally, said that was the longest 5 minutes of my career.
Hawks come to full strength. Hosa's out of the box. Jalmerson put it in behind the net to Nolan. Now Sobel right point, hammers a shot. Here's Hosa, the rebound. Score! Hawks win! Hawks win! Marian Hosa's first Blackhawk playoff goal! It's a game winner in overtime!
He goes from wearing the goat horns to the penthouse in a matter of, 3.5 minutes.
You are losing by a goal in the last minute, and you're shorthanded. One of your best players has a 5-minute penalty. You score a shorthanded goal to force overtime, and then you win the game. How do you win the game? The guy that took the penalty comes out of the box, goes right to the front of the net, the puck finds him, he scores. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Right then and there is when we knew this might be a team of destiny. We might have a chance to win it all.
The Blackhawks rode the momentum from their dramatic victory into Game 6 and seized the series.
Hawks win. The Blackhawks will move to the next round of the playoffs and take on the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to get a rematch of last year's playoffs.
Huge win, great character, great response after giving up 3 goals in the first. Kept it at bay the rest of the way. Now we know we play in Vancouver. The fun starts now, boys. Great job. Wait.
There was a lot of talk going into that series from what happened the previous year. There's lots of bad blood there.
A save by Luongo, who was then drilled by Bufflin.
Well, I think everybody thought it was going to be kind of a bruising, nasty kind of series because, two teams don't like each other very well.
There are too many altercations and too few officials here.
The games were pretty physical and had some fights and stuff that went on.
15 minutes to play. Look out! Taves didn't see Mitchell coming out of the penalty box.
We wanted to play the Canucks. That's one team we wanted to go through, and we knew if we put our best foot forward that we were going to do it.
You've got the Vancouver Canucks, who were sitting around for a year stewing in their juices because they had the Hawks on the ropes a year previous, and Chicago came back and beat them. They come out in Game 1, and the Hawks were awful. The Hawks played nervous. Passed the puck when they should shoot it when they should pass. Everything was off. They were just out of sorts. And they got trounced in Game 1.
Stopped by Kessler. Long shot. Save. Rebound. Score!
The Hawks were kind of questioning themselves, I think, after that Game 1 and going, what happened here?
And that's it. The Vancouver Canucks win Game 1.
Going into Game 2, we knew we needed to be better.
We were calm. Nobody was yelling and screaming, like I said. Everybody listened to what Ladd or Madden, guys that have been through it, to hear what they had to say.
It was kind of a theme throughout the year in the locker room. A lot of times is if we lose a game the next day, before the game, guys would talk about that in the locker room and say, like, hey, good teams don't lose back-to-back nights.
For Samuelson, he scores!
Down early in Game 2, Chicago fought back for a 4-2 victory. With the series tied, the teams headed to Vancouver, where Big Buff took center stage.
Dustin Bufflin has always been an incredibly intriguing prospect because you don't find very many guys that big who can move as well as he does or handle a puck as well as he does.
Second power play for Chicago, hammered by Keith, fought off by Luongo, and brought in by Dustin Bufflin.
Once he gets to the front of the net, you're not moving him. And he has such good hands for a large individual. He's able to find a lot of loose pucks.
The move to take Dustin Bufflin from the blue line, not only park him on offense, but park him right in front of the opposition goaltender. He was inside Luongo's crease and inside his head almost from the first minute he got there.
Patrick Kane down deep for Jonathan Taves, losing control, shoveled in. Dustin Bufflin with his second goal tonight.
Big boy, I think he hates them more than anybody, so you could tell every time he's on the ice, he's going out there and he's playing his hardest.
Wasn't doing too much, just standing in front of the net and, causing problems.
Patrick Kane tries to make it happen. So does Bufflin, who bulldozes his way in, and they score! It's in the net behind Luongo.
When he got moved up to our line and, really made himself, be a presence.
Taves has a chance, he scores!
It's not easy. He's a good goaltender. You just couldn't let him see the puck. And he hit him, and it fall down, and I just had to try find it around there.
He's proved that he's a playoff guy. That hat trick that night was kind of the turning point in that series.
Patrick Kane. Taves has a chance, he scores! Hawks now get it deep. Here's a chance for Taves. Goal number 2 on the night. Bolin delays, put it in front. Taves, she scores! Hat trick for Jonathan Taves! The Chicago Blackhawks have a stranglehold on this series. They win Game 4.
Although the Canucks won Game 5, Chicago had another opportunity to close out their rivals back in Vancouver.
You could sense it in the locker room a lot of times, that there was just this attitude that we're not going to lose tonight. There's not a chance that we're going to let this one get away from us.
What a goal by Patrick Kane. Kane all alone, Dustin Byfuglien. He'll walk in for a chance and get it done.
This is over. You can order the autopsy now.
Preparation all day, exactly what you were looking for. All about business, everybody was into it. Played the perfect road game right off the bat. Now we put ourselves exactly where we want to be.
When that series was over, I know that we were happy to move on and we didn't have to see those guys for another year.
Entering the Western Conference Final, the Blackhawks opened a series on the road for the first time.
We got asked a lot this season about our road record and how well we played on the road. I think it was because we got along so well in the hotel.
Leads you off to a good start here.
Wow.
As a team, you're always going to spend a lot of time together, especially on the road during the playoffs.
Taser, how does it feel to once again?
But, you know, we always got along.
2 comps in a row?
Brouwer likes to cheat sometimes so he can get a good treat to get into first place.
We had our little room, our little sanctuary. Everybody was always in there.
Patrick Kane over here wants to be good, but his game's just not quite there.
I think Soupy's cheating a little bit, and he stole my character.
It's getting your mind away from hockey, and it was the video games for our guys on the road, and that's what guys did.
No way.
A couple of us that didn't play, we'd sit there and be involved too, we'd make fun of the guys or joke around with them, or whoever got last place, and if it was Taser, we'd really get on Taser, because he would get so mad he'd throw his remote control. So we would always kind of cheer for him, but he was pretty darn good. I don't think he lost too many of those games.
Dominant win by Mr. T, dominant. We want to take care of each other, whether it's on or off the ice, and the guys just get along. That's what it is. There you have it, from one of the worst players in the game.
Winners of 5 straight away games, the Hawks visited the top-seeded San Jose Sharks at the Shark Tank.
Only the 7th time since 1994 that the top 2 seeds have gotten this far.
We were confident, and we kept things very simple. San Jose is a tough team, and they're fast, and they'll make you pay on the power play. We got a little bit in the penalty trouble.
Sure enough, to the box he goes. To the Birds. The Birds are shot. He scores!
Easily in period 1 of game 1 against San Jose. Could have been 3-0.
There and centered out in front. Oh, Heatley's shot was stopped by Niemi.
Good stuff there again by Antti Niemi.
Antti Niemi closed the door and did not allow the San Jose Sharks to get a 2-0 or a 3-0 lead.
Right left wing, gave it a Sharpie, shoots, he scores!
Byfuglien has hit, he scores! Dustin Byfuglien has broken the tie!
And how about that afternoon for Antti Niemi? When the game was 1-0, San Jose with 3 or 4 outstanding opportunities, and Antti Niemi would not allow that second goal.
In Game 1, Antti Niemi frustrated the Sharks' attack. In Game 2, it was the Rat.
Thornton and Bolin coming together.
Dave Bolin was incredible.
Beating on, it's left behind by Heatley.
Call him a little rat, and he really is, and he's kind of quietly does it, and I think a lot of guys don't expect it coming from him, and then all of a sudden you see a guy just snap on him.
Boy, it was Thornton Bolin was ever whacked.
Right off the faceoff.
Oh, man.
You know, you could say he was maybe our most versatile player on our team, just how he found a way to get an edge on his opponent every single shift.
That Thornton and Bolin again? Yes.
And playing against Joe and Heatley and Marleau was a great moment. Those are 3 top players in this league.
The stick of Joe Thornton was caught up in the jersey of Dave Bolin.
While the Rat kept San Jose's top line in check, his teammates showcased their scoring touch.
Oh, now it's Ladd. He scores! Andrew Ladd, and it's 1-0. Kane to the outside with a shot. Deflected, score! It is 2-0. Back it comes to Keith. Drive, rattle off the pipe and in. 3-0, a power play goal. A steal there by Hossa. Drive by Jefferson, he scores! 4-1. It is 2 games to none, Chicago.
With a record 7 straight road wins and a commanding 2-0 lead, the Blackhawks headed home.
Impressive display of net binding.
Marleau with a shot. Cut off by Niemi. Owen with a shot. Great save, Nabokov.
Niemi makes a fine save on Joe Thornton.
In Game 3, the goalies held their ground, The teams battled to a 2-2 tie, forcing overtime.
Held in by Campbell. Downstairs for Mola. Counted for Bufflin. And he scores! Dustin Bufflin wins it in overtime.
They have no answer for Dustin Bufflin. They call him Big Buff because of his girth. Well, they can call him Big Buff because of the big goals he scored.
Chicago has a commanding lead. 3 games to none in this best of 7.
Entering Game 4, the Hawks were a win away from the Stanley Cup final.
A turnaround shot, they score! What a wonderful play at the front of the net by Logan Couture.
But the Sharks would not go quietly.
Now Duncan Keith just got hit in the face with the puck, and he's hurt and headed for the bench. Here comes the Sharks.
It's punched to Vlasic, side of the net, Brett scores! Patrick Marleau has done it again. It's 2-0 Sharks.
Marleau's goal hurt the Hawks on the scoreboard and sent their best defenseman to the locker room.
God love Dunk. He will give his heart and soul to win a hockey game.
There you see it hit Duncan Keith. You got mouthpiece flying, teeth flying.
Kind of sat there and put his head down. He grabs his mouth and just kind of looked around, and all of a sudden the trainer's like, well, hey, we should probably get you in the training room. And he just kind of looked around like, oh, all right, if that's what I need to do.
In the dressing room when he came in, and I just saw blood dripping, coming out of his mouth, and he was just losing it, yelling at everybody, trying to get the dentist in there to fix him up so he could get back out there.
It looks like it resulted in a couple of lost teeth for number 2.
He gave everybody a cringe, but he went in, got his thing done there in the room, and he was back out before the period ended.
When he smiles now and he's got no teeth and you can see gums, it's funny as ever, but he sacrificed for the team and we'll never forget it.
Brent Seabrook cut the deficit to 1, and when Keith returned to the ice, the Hawks were inspired.
Eager able to lob it on back. Taken by Boland around behind. Boland comes out in front and a shot. Score!
2-2 late in the second.
In front, Bufflin scores!
3-2 Chicago.
Battle for by Marleau and lost. And backhanded down the ice and in!
The Chicago Blackhawks are headed to the Stanley Cup final. Will he touch it or not?
By not picking up the trophy, trying to remind each other, remind our team, and it's not what we're here for, so we weren't ready to touch any harder yet.
In the Stanley Cup final, Chicago faced the Cinderella Philadelphia Flyers.
They find themselves in the last week of the season, scrambling to make the playoffs. They have a home-and-home with the Rangers. They lose badly on Friday night. They come back on Sunday needing a win any way you can get it, and they go to a shootout.
The save by Boucher, and the Flyers are going to the playoffs!
They win round 1 against the Devils in convincing fashion, and then they come back from 3 games to none down against the Boston Bruins.
A comeback of epic proportions comes complete for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Now they're on a roll. They find themselves against the 8th seed. Now they have home ice advantage in the Eastern Conference Finals. They take care of Montreal like I think most people figured they would, and now they go and they have to face the Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Final.
The Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Championship.
Let's go, Hawks! Let's go, Hawks!
2 rich histories, 2 great franchises, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Chicago Blackhawks.
Cup's coming! Yeah, baby!
I think people looked at these 2 teams as having the kind of depth along the blue line, having great depth up front, that they were the kinds of teams that could get here.
I think if the Flyers looked at the Chicago Blackhawks, it would almost be like looking in the mirror, and vice versa.
These are 2 teams that like to control the puck. These are 2 teams that like to be aggressive on the offense. These are 2 teams that like to hit. We're going to see a physical series.
I think going into it, I think everybody, you could see the different pressure, the different animal that is Game 1 of the finals. Whether they're anxious, they're nervous, they're, they just want to get out there.
Game 1 from the United Center in Chicago. The Blackhawks and the Flyers. The 2010 Stanley Cup Final is about to begin. Flip of the puck, and the Stanley Cup Finals are underway.
I like the fact that the veteran referees are allowing this have some emotion. Allow the big hits, allow that animosity to build.
As the animosity increased, so did the scoring chances.
Flyers get the puck to the net, and it's in. A bouncing puck gets behind Antti Niemi, and the Philadelphia Flyers have the first goal of the Stanley Cup Final.
Philadelphia scored first, but the Madhouse wouldn't be silent long.
There's a shot by Kane.
And this building, which was quiet seconds ago, all of a sudden is back to its madhouse.
Jeff Carter races into the Hawks zone, right corner, shot it through the crease and around, and it's taken away by Mullen at the line, through center ice, over the flare line, down the slot, shoots and scores! Dave Mullen with another short-handed breakaway goal! It's 2-1, Chicago Blackhawks!
3 goals in the span of 5 minutes and 12 seconds. They've given this crowd something to cheer about.
It was a perfect storm. There are going to be lots of chances, and when you give really good players lots of chances, goals are going to go in.
Back to Pronger, lets it go again. Tipped and a save. Niemi, loose puck, score! And this time on the power play, the Flyers make the Hawks pay, and we have a 2-2 hockey game.
It was definitely pretty sloppy both ways, and every time we scored a goal or we finally got the lead, we were telling each other, let's really tighten up here and be a little bit more responsible defensively, and it never seemed to work.
Danny Briere winds. He'll take the shot that deflected right on. Right back to Briere. He scores! With 26 seconds left in the opening period, Danny Briere fires it in for a 3-2 Flyers lead.
Both teams wasn't very comfortable with the puck, and it was bouncing, and it was fidgety, and it was like the unpredictability of that game was always in place, and pucks were going in as well.
Pucks continued to find the back of the net in the second period.
Sharp has tied this game at 3. The Philadelphia Flyers have regained the lead. Sting has tied it at 4. Tulsa put it out in front. Brouwer shoots, he scores! Troy Brouwer with his second goal of the game puts the Hawks out in front again. 5-4 in favor of the Hawks.
At that point, the goaltenders, not to be at fault, were kind of left to hang out to dry in a lot of situations.
We're wondering which coach might make the first goaltending change. It's Philadelphia. What a wild game.
I could not believe how back and forth it was, but like I said, I think the teams were so skilled. They didn't quite know each other well enough, and that's why plays were working that generally would not work.
Hartnell takes the pass, hits the trailer, Asham can't shoot. Briere to Asham, one-timer scores!
Aaron Asham ties it with 1:11 left in the second period.
Not only Danny, not only Ash.
The third period turned out to be what we thought was going to happen in the first period. It was closely contested. The teams settled down, knowing that they were already in the finals. There's no reason to be nervous. You're in the tournament. Get going.
Kopecky scores! Thomas Kopecky, 6-5 Chicago.
Kobe came back, found himself on that line while Ladd was out, scored a huge goal for us, and was a force the rest of the playoffs.
What an interesting ebb and flow this game has had all night. And now the Blackhawks at home have a 6-5 lead, but there's a ways to go yet.
Hartnell waits for a man to get onside, gets it to Danny Briere with a shot, and a club save by Niemi, his biggest save of the game with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left. 1 second left, and that'll do it. The horn sounds in the wildest game in Stanley Cup recent history.
The Chicago Blackhawks have won Game 1 of the 2010 Stanley Cup Final by a final score of 6-5. The Hawks salute their crowd as the crowd salutes them.
What is the biggest lesson tonight, Chris?
I think just consistency. We weren't putting the pucks in good areas. We're giving up pucks, and those guys are too skilled over there to be doing that. They'll make you pay every time.
You know, it was one game. You know, we got to take it 5 minutes. You know, we'll enjoy it for 5, and you know, get back on Monday.
We can be 1,000 times better than we were tonight. The third period started coming. We started skating. Before we're standing still. Before we got the puck, they got the puck. Move, speed. They can't handle it. Good win. Good win, boys. Good win.
The stage fright, the jitters, the nervous energy that gave us that odd 6-5 shootout in Game 1 may have settled down today. And both the Philadelphia Flyers and Chicago Blackhawks are promising a different, tighter game tonight.
So coming into the second game, we knew it was going to be a different style. They were knew they were going to come out tougher and harder. It was going to be a lot nastier.
Everyone knew things were going to get a little more intense, a little more physical.
Are you tough? Yeah, I'm pretty tough. You want to go then?
To ratchet up the intensity, the Flyers inserted Dan Carcillo into the lineup.
Once he got back in the lineup, you knew we were going to have some fun.
Coach, know you're playing tonight or not? Ask the coach if you're supposed to be out here.
The addition of Carcillo, he made an impact right away with his speed and his physical play.
No one on the ice was safe, not even Carcillo's teammates.
0-2, Flyers collide. Carcillo and Carter shaking up. What a hit.
Good hit. That's your first good hit of the year. That's your first good hit of the year.
He was yelling and screaming, and that's great. You know, that's hockey. That's playoffs.
You better have your head up in this game. Players from both teams, every opportunity they get to run somebody over, that's what they're doing.
A much more physical game already here in Game 2.
The teams remained deadlocked deep into the second when the Hawks found a rare opening in the tight checking game.
Duncan Keith into Sharp. He shoots late in the save. Rebound.
It was nice to see him score that goal. Quit answering all those questions about why he wasn't scoring.
And Marian Hossa scores to give Chicago a 1-0 lead.
You just got to take a look at the games to realize he was one of our top forwards every night.
Hossa's goal snapped an 8-game drought. 28 seconds later, an unlikely hero emerged.
That's kind of the way our team has been all year, is you could plug anybody into a different line, and they throw Benny out there with Kane for a shift, and he pots a big one.
Bufflin sends the puck to Eager over the Flyer line, right side. He scores! Eager, a former Flyer, haunting his old mates, and just like that, it's 2-0 Hawks!
Probably caught the goaltender by surprise, but everybody on our team knows what kind of skills Benny has.
This is called a bonus goal. Your fourth-line players can score.
He's a player with our team. We have a lot of depth, so he doesn't see many minutes, but when he does, he's contributing in any way possible.
It's huge for the confidence of the team, and then even more so, you just believe, like, it doesn't matter who we throw out there right now. Anybody's got a chance to contribute and score.
As the third period began, a 2-goal deficit did not discourage the hard-fighting Flyers.
There's the shot by Gagne, scores! Looks like the Flyers have upped the ante here now that they've closed the gap to 2-1.
I think we realize Philly, this team is there for real. There are a lot of weapons and a lot of offensive guys that can make plays.
Simone Gagne to Mike Richards behind the defense. He's stopped by Niemi.
With the Flyers buzzing, pressure was once again placed squarely on the shoulders of their goaltender, Antti Niemi.
Here's Isham with a dribble. What a glove save by Antti Niemi. He had Niemi going one way, and he reached back with a glove and made a spectacular stop.
Philly really came strong in the third, and he's made several key saves.
Even in wrist shot right through, save rebound, tap for Gagne, and it's gathered in by Niemi.
He's doing the job, certainly. I mean, you wouldn't be in the finals if you weren't getting decent goaltending, that's for sure.
Back on Carcillo, another shot, grabbed and held by the netminder, Antti Niemi. Richards gets position, gets a shot away, save made by Niemi.
Tremendous pressure by the Philadelphia Flyers.
Antti preserved the win for us. At the end of it, you'd probably call that a goalie win.
Chicago, by the skin of their teeth, holds off the Flyers in the third, and Game 2 goes to the Blackhawks.
That felt like a Stanley Cup final game. You kind of feel like you got a stranglehold on the series.
The scene shifted to Philadelphia, where the Flyers were almost unbeatable throughout the playoffs.
They say you're never in trouble in a best-of-7 series until you lose at home. Chicago defended their home ice. Now it's up for the Flyers to defend theirs in games 3 and 4.
Philadelphia's got to feed up this tremendous crowd. You've got to use that almost like an extra player, just as Chicago did when they were at home.
Nothing was as crazy as Philly. I mean, I had buddies come down for the game, family members come down. They said it was probably the craziest atmosphere they had, and they're getting made fun of the whole game.
Fever pitch right now, Doc.
Great.
Back and forth they battled, but the Flyers held the early edge.
Now they enter the zone. Here's a chance for Briere. Safety, and he gets up a rebound. Hawks clear it, but not out. One-timer on the way. Glove safety, and he loses it. Score! Danny Briere on the power play makes it 1-0. What a play right there by Hartnell. What a play by Hartnell.
After the great glove save, he just throws it over to the other side. Beautiful pass from Hartnell, and Danny Briere gives them the lead.
As the second period began, the road-tested Hawks looked to turn the tide.
Patrick Kane off the boards with it. Far side, a one-timer score! Off the stick of Duncan Keith that deflected off the Flyer and into the net past Leighton, and the Blackhawks have tied this game.
That goal quiets this crowd. Now things are starting to get a little nastier between these two teams.
6 minutes played, second period, tie game.
Far corner, now it comes back to Pronger, shot to the front. Oh, it hit the post and then the goal line, and it looked like it may have gone in. They will look at this again for sure.
There was a deflection, there was a save, there was a post, and then it started going in the net.
There's the deflection, there's the post. It's in.
7.5 to go. Second period. 2-0 Blackhawks in the series. 2-1 Flyers in game 3.
Madden wins it away to Sobel. Pounds a shot. He scores! Brett Sobel's first ever goal against the Philadelphia Flyers comes in the Stanley Cup Finals to tie the score at 2.
And for Brett Sobel, his first goal of the playoffs, just his third career playoff goal.
We were laughing. We were telling him, oh, you threw a changeup on him, Soaps. You threw a changeup. He's like, oh, no, I smoked it. I hammered it right by him. And so we had some fun with it.
When he puts one in, you see the excitement in his face, and it gave us a chance to get right back in the game. It gave us a big lift.
Early in the third, Chicago's young guns finally made their presence known.
Here's Taves taking it away, headman past the Kane. He's got a breakaway over the Flyer line, down the slot, shoots, he scores! Patrick Kane, his first goal in the Stanley Cup Finals, and for the first time in Game 3, the Chicago Blackhawks lead the Flyers. They now lead 3-2.
The Blackhawks could taste a commanding series lead, but the Flyers were far from finished.
This is Giroux flipping one in front of the rebound. Score!
Yimmy got the first one, but Billy Leno pounds it home, and we have a tie hockey game.
That lead did not last long.
You know, you put yourself up 3-2, you're thinking you're in a good position. They come down and score 20 seconds later, so our momentum just, got taken right away from us.
Since Patrick Kane's goal, the shots are 11-1 Philadelphia.
That Philly team does such a good job at home, the way they feed off their energy in their crowd. Once they get a little momentum, it's so hard to try and pull it back from them.
As the game went into overtime, the complexion of the series was about to change.
Headmanning up the left wing, Danny Briere into the Chicago zone. He's got Carl on the high slot. Carl in front, deflected, they score!
And Giroux's got it! He deflects it by Antiniemi, and the Flyers have some magic left as they win it in overtime, and now trail the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Final, 2-1.
I think we were maybe a little bit overconfident. You know, we went in thinking we've been great on the road. You know, we're gonna just go right in and take a 3-0 lead, no problem. And we were pretty wrong there.
Sometimes you got to realize that you're playing against an opponent that has gotten just as far as you have and wants to win as well. So maybe it's not so much what we didn't do is what they did well. So we got to give them the credit.
I think we're going to see more in this game than we've seen in the previous three as far as hitting, skating, shooting, saves, goals, a little bit of everything. This is going to be the best game of the four.
We can be better. And that was kind of our mindset and our attitude is that, you know what, in the first 3 games still, we won 2 at home, we lose game 3, but we still haven't played our best hockey yet.
A Flyer victory in this series is even at 2 games apiece. If Jonathan Toews and company can pull this off, they can go home, the Hawks, to try to win the Cup.
In Game 4, it was the Flyers once again sustaining the pressure early.
Madden wins the draw. Hjalmarsson, had to take it away, back in, just score! What a play by Mike Richards! His first goal in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's 1-0 Philadelphia.
What a spectacular play.
The way Philly played, they were an entirely different team all of a sudden.
Van Riemsdyk spins in behind the goal, laid it out in front. It's controlled by Giroux, threw it into the net, they score!
Matt Carl, the defenseman, moves in, and the Flyers have a 2-0 lead.
The first time we had a 2-goal lead in the series.
It's not fun to be, playing from behind against a team like that in their own building.
Late in the first, Patrick Sharp gave Chicago some hope. But it didn't take long for Philadelphia to answer.
Sends it back to the line. Here's Timonen with a chance to the side of the net. Score! Claude Giroux, all alone, makes it 3-1.
We have seen quick responses by the Flyers in this series.
You give Philly some credit because they did that a lot. Is we'd score one and they'd come back and they'd take some momentum back from you right away.
Despite a scoreless second period, the Flyers' offensive onslaught continued in the third.
Back comes Billy Leno. Leno puts on the brakes, cuts to the middle. Leno with a shot. Score!
Billy Leno bounces it off a man, and the Flyers take the 3-goal lead, 4-1.
There was never a panic. It wasn't a panic. It wasn't we were worried. It was just more like, come on, let's go. We're better than this.
Look, perfect. Hey, he comes away from the net. Now you got a center on a guy low.
Now Patrick Kane, back for Keith. Shot pass, score! Bolin deflects it home.
We got down pretty big early, and it looked as if the game was over. And I think that third period we just came out and played the way we felt we were capable of.
Campbell across the line for the Hawks. Slides it to the front. Tate was there to the goal! And boy, we now have a hockey game. Here's Duncan Keith. Shot pass, redirected, save. And Richards is there for the Flyers, and boy, have the Hawks come on.
The late push was not enough, and the Hawks' valiant comeback fell short.
Duncan Keith couldn't hold it in. Race for the puck and taken by Carter. He's going to seal the deal. Joel Quenneville's club is going home. That's the good news, but their 2-0 lead in the Stanley Cup final has evaporated.
Next thing you know, the series is tied. There's a little bit of self-doubt there all of a sudden when it seemed like a sure thing just a couple days ago.
Searching for answers after back-to-back losses, the Hawks turned to their coach.
Coach Q has been awesome for this team. He was able to kind of put things together and implement a system that made us successful.
His demeanor is always the same. He always comes in with the same message and a calming presence. It was a good mix for the youth of our team and kept us always kind of just going in that right direction.
He's obviously a great teacher, and the way he taught us to play the game just lets us be a team and lets us just be a group of guys that loves to have fun and go out there and work hard when the time is right.
I think there's a lot of factors that play into it with Joel. A big part of coaching is you have to be able to have that gut instinct on, what do we need to do to make adjustments. He's not the kind of coach that changes things all the time, but he does make the proper adjustments when needed.
Two teams, 2 wins from the Cup. A best-of-3 series for the championship of the NHL begins tonight in Chicago.
With the series up for grabs, Coach Quenneville shook things up, placing superstars Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews on separate lines.
We needed to play our best game to get a chance to win the series. So it was an easy decision to mix up the lines after we'd lost 2 games in a row.
The effect was clear from the start.
Game 5 is underway. A completely different look for the Chicago Blackhawks early on. Here's Toews, a weak shot, dribbled to the corner.
Let's go now, Red, come on now.
I thought the start to Game 5 was huge. We had speed, we had pace, we had the enthusiasm of playing with new line mates.
I thought that we were skating as good as we had all season long. We were playing physical. We were putting the pucks in the right areas. And as well as you can play like that, if the score is still 0-0, the other team's got a shot.
The Blackhawks had a chance to make their early dominance count when Scott Hartnell went to the penalty box midway through the period.
Brouwer closes in, lost it in his skates, and pokes it to the right wing corner. Tiemann hit Brouwer, took it back. To Versteeg behind the net. The Seabrook left circle, shoot, he scores! Seabrook with a snapshot from the left circle. Looked like it hit somebody in front of the Flyers' net, but it found its way in behind Michael Layton. It's a power play goal, and the Hawks lead 1-0.
We knew we were going to come out hard. We knew we had to win that game and come back. Just a huge confidence builder to get ourselves that lead.
Anytime you're at home, that's what you want to do, is you want to get your fans into it. We knew if we got that first goal, this building's going to be jumping.
The Flyers are really under siege. In the high slot, Sopel's got the puck. Fires it toward the net. Pad save is made. Ball rebound, score! Here's Versteeg. Cuts in over the Flyer line. Then across the high slot. Moves in, shoots, he scores! Versteeg! This period can't end fast enough for the Philadelphia Flyers. It's already 3-0 Hawks.
I would say that first period in Game 5 at home might have been our best period of the playoffs. To have 3 goals and have your hard work pay off, I think, is another confidence booster.
Chicago was riding high after the first 20 minutes, but Philadelphia started the second period with a new goaltender and renewed energy.
That team is so resilient. They don't stop. If you're up 10 goals on that team, I don't think it matters.
Side of the goal, Billy Leno took the shot. The Emmy made the save, they score!
That's a big one.
Scott Hartnell got to it just 32 seconds into the second period, and the Flyers are on the board.
They just keep coming, and they're still in your face, and they don't quit.
Here's Powell, shot off the glove, rebound, skipped, and then wheeling it with his goal stick was the Emmy.
And you sense a little restlessness here in the crowd.
The Flyers found offense of their own, but as the game wore on, the Hawks' balanced attack became overwhelming.
Kane cuts it over the Philly line, moves the puck to Sharp, right point down to Kane, right half board. To Keith, high slot to the left circle, Taves put it in front, but he scored! Power play goal! And the Hawks lead the Flyers 5-2!
We speak about the depth of both these teams, the ability to be able to score quick strikes. Philly gets one, not out of it.
Tiemann goes point to point. Lucas Krajicek turned, took the shot through, rebound, they score! James Van Riemsdyk. It's a 5-3 Chicago lead now.
They have a resilient Philadelphia Flyers. There's no quit at all in their game. Unbelievable. This is the kind of pressure the Flyers want. Billy Leno, Michael Bargent to the net. Another hit for Dustin Buckland. Big Walker's back tonight. To Kane, he gains center ice with a 2-on-1 break with Ladd. Kane over the Flyer line, left circle. Gave it a Sharp in the slot. He shoots, he scores! Patrick Sharp, 6-3 Hawks with 3:52 left in the third period.
You know, we were coming hard and you know, we wanted this game. They battled back, they kept coming back, but just the way we were playing that game, we just had a little more than they did.
Left one over the center ice circle, shoots toward an empty net, he scores! And that should put this one away. The Chicago Blackhawks are one win from the Stanley Cup. Great game, man.
With a 3-2 series lead, Chicago was on the verge of ending a 49-year Cup drought, the longest in the NHL. Anticipation made the wait between games unbearable as the Blackhawks left Chicago for Philadelphia.
It's an interesting couple of days. We had the extra day in between. We felt almost like, okay, is this game ever going to get here?
It was tough to get sleep that night. All you're thinking about was the Stanley Cup and the possibility of winning it and having it in your hands.
The Stanley Cup is polished and in the building tonight. The Chicago Blackhawks can win it. The Flyers can keep it in its box.
That whole day, I remember thinking, like, we could finish this off tonight and be Stanley Cup champs.
Probably the longest day of my life. You want it so bad that, you know, every single moment of the day you're thinking of that end result. And that's hoisting the Stanley Cup.
And Taves wins the faceoff, and Game 6 of the 2010 Stanley Cup Final is underway.
Here we go, boys, here we go!
If Chicago wins, they'll be crowned champions. If the Flyers win, we have a Game 7.
I thought we had a great start to the game.
5 1/4 played in the first period. The shots are 5-1 in favor of the Blackhawks.
They were hungry. They were ready to go. They didn't look like they were too nervous.
Backhand pass to Duncan Keith. Fires a shot off the post. And then Taves couldn't get the rebound.
All of a sudden, we had puck possession. We had them in their end. We had some shifts where they're on their heels.
Keep working like that. They're going to call penalties here. Flyers are in big trouble here.
Some concern you sense in the crowd here in Philadelphia right now as the chances are coming for the Blackhawks. Here comes another with Kane crossing, shooting, save made by Leighton. And a penalty coming up. It's going to be against the Flyers.
Relentless pressure gave Chicago the man advantage late in the first period.
More battling on the boards. 5 players now, 6 have concurred.
Battle! Puck comes back to Duncan Keith. Slides into the middle, passes off. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Buffalo scores! Good job, boys. I want bump, eh? Out of foul, cleaner, that's it.
With under a minute remaining, the Flyers got a chance of their own.
Over! Interference!
Yeah, we got a penalty
What are you talking about?
coming up here in the final minute.
Let's go, man! Shoot that puck!
Andy Briere gave it on back to Pronger, then across to Briere. Shooting! Save! Niemi! Rebound! Score!
They just come back and they stuff one down your throat, and it just kills your momentum.
Arnold yet again!
That's it, man! Woo!
But hey, we're 1-1 after the first period of Game 6 with a chance to win a Stanley Cup. We're still in a good spot.
In the second, the action was frantic as the teams attempted to break the tie.
Here's a steal. Simon Gagne in alone. Stopped by Niemi.
Ladd coming in, Ladd to the backhand, and he sent it wide. Big hit coming there from Richards as he went right over Thomas Kopecky. And does that fire up the Wachovia Center crowd?
12:05 to go in the second. Shots are 21-8. Falling down his Keith across the Briere. He scored!
With a 2-1 lead halfway through the period, Philadelphia had momentum, but the Hawks pushed right back.
Here's Keith beating one on a cross. It's down one further. Scored! Yeah! Scored! A 4-on-4 goal ties the game.
Philadelphia needs a push now if they want to get back in this momentum swinging toward Chicago. The Chicago Blackhawks have energy. They've got jump. They're moving their feet. Philadelphia's out of gas right now. They just can't contain Chicago. Matt Carl under pressure in his own zone. He lost the puck. Patrick Kane won't give it up. Nicholas Hjalmarsson shoots to the score. Woo! Andrew Ladd was crossing in front of the net. The Blackhawks have a late second period 3-2 lead.
With just 20 minutes separating them from the Cup, Chicago's focus shifted to keeping the resilient Flyers in check.
When we were up going 3-2 into the third period and knowing that, man, we hold these guys off somehow, we're going to be Stanley Cup champions. It doesn't really quite sink in, but it is in the back of your mind.
Shift after shift, the Hawks are protecting the lead and wearing the Flyers down, and Philadelphia, desperate for a goal, hasn't had a shot in the third period yet.
I thought, okay, we got it. We're going to hold on. We're going to lock down defensively. We're going to have to weather a few storms. They're going to come at us a little bit.
Needs something good to happen if you're the Flyers, but Chicago certainly got a surge, and they can taste it.
Jeff Carter turns, shoots, stopped by Niemi.
It was one of those times in the game, I think maybe we were just, trying to save the lead.
Oh, and a great save made by Niemi on Richards.
Stopped by Niemi.
10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, just hoping like we can hold it off, we can hold it off.
Billy Lino gets through the neutral zone, into the attacking zone. Hartnell heads for the net. Briere's already there.
You give up a late goal like that, it's a little haywire and it's a little scary because now it looks like it's so far away.
This is unbelievable.
Facing adversity, the Flyers have come back again, tied the game.
When they scored with 4 minutes left, everything you thought could have happened or wasn't going to happen.
And Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final is headed to sudden death overtime.
To be honest, I think a lot of guys thought, oh, shoot, we're going to 7 games now. This is going 7 games.
If the Blackhawks get the next goal, they are the 2010 Stanley Cup champions. If the Flyers score, we have Game 7.
He throws the puck to the front of the net. Bouncing puck. Giroux stopped by Niemi. Here come the Flyers. Oh, what a play by Brent Seabrook.
Helter-skelter here at the start.
Campbell holds the puck into the line.
It's one of those plays there we made a nice play to keep the puck in. Soupy goes down to the wall to Kane.
Made a nice play on the boards. A little shoulder shimmy.
Made a few head fakes on team in and tried to take the puck to the net.
Goes down to the net on a tough angle and shot it.
Kane to the net.
Where's the puck? I don't see no puck. I haven't seen the puck.
Thought it might have been stuck in the goalie's equipment.
I sort of looked to see if the puck went down the boards, and it didn't go anywhere.
I just saw Kane skating by the bench, throwing off his stuff.
We saw no signal, and we're not sure if they've set a signal of a goal yet.
You know, we're all kind of skating on the ice, kind of looking back at the goal and looking at the refs.
All the guys are down at the other end celebrating and having a great time, and I'm sitting there, I'm still looking for the puck.
But then all of a sudden, you know, you kind of saw the refs, you know, nod their heads that it was in.
But we kind of had a second celebration after that.
For the first time since 1961, the Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup.
You've got one of the most storied organizations in all of hockey, and to have 49 years without a cup, it's too long. And it's back here now.
I don't even know what to say, you know, like... The best feeling in the world to start. This is just surreal.
It's been a long time coming for Blackhawks fans, and you know how much it means, not to your team, not to yourself, but for a whole city.
Winning the Stanley Cup is really a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's the ultimate validation that we're back.
Let's go!
And there's nothing like being a part of something special, like a Stanley Cup winning team. And with this group of guys.
Were you nervous going in, no team? Not as much as you guys were.
In a city like Chicago, nothing compares to that.
In the greatest city in the world, we have the greatest fans in the world, Chicago Blackhawks fans. And the hat trick, we have the greatest hockey team in the world. Best thing that's ever happened in my life. Chicago! I want to hear you, I can't hear you. I don't even know what to say. Best time of my life right now. Who knows a good dentist, by the way? Anyone got a dentist? I didn't know this many people in Chicago. This is unbelievable. You guys are the best fans in the world. That's all I can say right now.
We welcome you to the home of the Blue Jackets, and tonight, home of the 2007 NHL entry draft.
The events of tonight and tomorrow will shape the future for so many young people, for our franchises. There are scouts here who have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours traveling thousands of miles. There are parents and relatives who have sacrificed for the players who are about to be drafted. And the young players who will be drafted here tonight and tomorrow will bring a new life, a new enthusiasm, and new promise to their new organizations. So let's get started. The first selection of the 2007 National Hockey League entry draft belongs to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Well, they don't love the Blackhawks here in Columbus. Dale Talon's team will pick in the top 3 for the 3rd time in the last 4 years, but this is the first time in the history of the National Hockey League draft that the Chicago Blackhawks have had the first overall selection. And Doug, you get the sense this is a crucial time for the Blackhawks.
Well, it certainly is, and they've really started with a nice foundation on their blue line in the last couple of drafts with the Barkers and so on. But this is a big pick. This is a big pick to add a big piece up front. Ruutu was a good addition a few years ago. Injuries have really hurt his progress. This is a key pick to go with young Taves, as I said earlier. Very big day for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Is there any concern about his size?
Well, absolutely there's some, but not on the part of the Chicago Blackhawks. They really think he's got a chance to be a home run offensive player in the National Hockey League. Dale Talon will tell you that even though he's only 5'9", 5'10", that he's not afraid to get in and swing in the tall trees, that he goes to the areas in the front of the net where you have to score goals and be a dynamic player. And they're very excited that Pat Kane is going to be their first pick as head scout Michel Dumas goes up with the sweater in his hand. And general manager Dale Talon has been very busy of late, adding Sergei Samsonov, adding Andre Zuzin, deleting Cullimore, deleting O'Coin, and he's going to make the pick.
On behalf of the Chicago Blackhawks, we'd like to thank the Columbus Blue Jacket organization, their great fans, and the wonderful city of Columbus for their great hospitality. We'd also like to thank our great fans, 3,500 strong tonight at a draft party at the United Center. We thank them for their support. This historic pick, the first time ever the Chicago Blackhawks have had the first pick, and we proudly select from the London Knights, the Ontario Hockey League, Patrick Kane.
This is the second straight year that an American-born player goes first overall. It's the first time that's ever happened. Eric Johnson went first overall to the St. Louis Blues last year, and Patrick Kane led the Ontario Hockey League in regular season and playoff scoring as an 18-year-old.
That's right, 62 goals, 145 points. But what really impressed the scouts and what really made a difference was that he dominated at the World Junior. It's so difficult for a draft-eligible player to be a dominant player at the World Junior Championship, but Patrick Kane did that to a higher level than Alexei Cherepanov or any of the other players, James Van Riemsdyk, any of the other draft-eligible players, and that's really what made him the #1 pick in the books of most teams in the National Hockey League. Wouldn't you say, Doug?
Yeah, and this is a player that makes other players better. The size has not affected him at any level he's ever played. What he did in the Ontario Hockey League this year, to me, was truly amazing for a young player, first-year player in the league. He's going to be a dynamic player for this organization. And so much for my pick in the mock draft. I made a mistake, but I've been wrong before.
And now the key question for Kane is going to be, does he play this fall? He'll get every chance to be in their lineup.
He will have a chance. He may be a little physically immature, but Dale Talon says there is a chance to play immediately. The opportunity was there. It will depend on how he trains in the offseason, how he does in training camp. First thing he's got to do is got to get an agent. He's got to get signed. He might be the only player in this that we see drafted in this first round has not selected a player agent as of yet. Said that the agents were knocking on his door a couple of years ago when he was 5'6". And so he's not in any hurry to pick anybody. There are concerns about the size, though, guys. I talked to one scout who said he's very skilled, he's very smart, and he's very, very small. You're going to find this is a draft, subpar year a little bit, where we start raising questions about all the picks almost immediately, whereas historically, you could go 5 or 10 deep before you could come up with a negative. All of these players have little idiosyncrasies that could be a problem in the short term.
Doug, the London Knights, though, have a recent history under the Hunter family, including Dale, the head coach, of turning out good pros, though. You think about guys like Corey Perry in Anaheim, so the Knights have a good track record.
Rick Nash turned out pretty good as well.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that he's going to step in and play, and it's always challenging for the organization because they got to make sure they use him right, they treat him right, they play him his minutes, because he's got to develop into a star. And that's going to be a challenge for the coaching staff, but he'll fit in and he'll do fine.
And so Patrick Kane goes first overall. Let's take a look at some of the recent ones. Columbus picked Rick Nash in 02, Marc-Andre Fleury to Pittsburgh. And these players have been pretty good impact players. Eric Johnson should be playing in the NHL this fall. Now, the next pick in the draft belongs to the Philadelphia Flyers. And this is an intriguing one. Let's go down to James Duthie.
All right, with Patrick Kane and Dale Talon. And Patrick, back when you were 14 years old and your parents dropped you off in Detroit to play for Honey Baked, you called Mom 2.5 hours later and said, I don't think I can do this. Well, you did it, and congratulations on being the first overall pick. Are you ready to play in the National Hockey League next season?
I think if I have a good summer and really work hard and work on my strength and my weaknesses, I think I'll give myself a chance. That's my goal, is to go into that camp and make the team. But if not, I got a great place in London, and it's been unbelievable this year. But don't get me wrong, I'm going in to make the team right away.
Do you think he has a chance and a good chance to play on your team next year?
We're going to give him every opportunity to play in our hockey club. We're going to have a young team, and we think he has the ability, and he has the fortitude and the desire, and he has the passion for it, and he's unbelievable skills. I think he's got a great opportunity to make our team.
Patrick's heard the questions about size his whole life. He's sick of them. I won't ask him. Yeah. But was it at all a consideration for you in the fact that Denny Savard is behind your bench, a guy who had a pretty darn good career without much size? Did that play a factor in you choosing Patrick?
And we had no reservations at all because of his size of his heart. He was fearless. He's fearless, goes into tall trees, he gets the work done. And to make the play, he takes the hits, and he never got knocked down. So we never worried about his size.
Pat, you were known pretty well in London for the goal celebrations. You did this archer thing one time. What was the other one? The slide on the, I don't know, it was curling or bowling. Do you have anything planned for your first NHL goal?
Not yet. I'll have to think about that one. Usually I put one in my mind before every game, so I'll think about that one definitely.
Well, you have a little bit of time to work on it. Pat Kane, the first overall pick.
Hi, I'm Philip Pritchard, the curator of the Hockey Hall of Fame, better known as the keeper of the Stanley Cup, and we're here in Philadelphia for Game 6 tomorrow night. And we're going to be over at the Wachovia Center depending on what happens. So for now, we'll just close the door and get some rest and see what happens tomorrow night for the big game. Hey guys, come on in. It's about an hour before game time here in Game 6. We're giving Stanley a good scrub down before the game. We're using natural light and artificial light to make sure all the fingerprints are off it. And in the background we got Big Billy up there. We got a pretty neat scene of downtown Philadelphia. But more importantly, we want all the fingerprints and everything off it for possible celebration and hoisting tonight. A lot of people always think, how do we shine this and everything? And basically every day it gets touched by thousands of people. So we use a soft detergent and warm water, basically taking the fingerprints off it because all of our fingerprints have oil on it. Twice a year it goes in for a good cleaning at a silversmith when it gets engraved and then before the playoffs start. But right now it's getting pretty clean there, ready to go. So right down on the bottom here, besides Pittsburgh, is a spot for the new champions. We got to get them nice and clean, ready to go. What a lot of people and a lot of fans aren't aware of, the names of the team actually doesn't go on until the end of the summer. All the players get the opportunity to take it home for a day with the management, coaches, equipment managers, the team parades, parties and all that. And then once training camp starts, we take it to the silversmith to get engraved. It's 35 pounds, 36 inches high, and has a lifetime of memories. And one more memory is going to be made soon. Ready to go. It'll be pretty special for all of them. The Hawks last won it in 1961, so it's for Hawk fans around the world, it'll be special. For obviously the diehard fans in Chicago, it'll be special, but for the players, it'll be unique, and I'm sure it'll be one of those games and one of those nights in the summer that they'll remember forever. The cup itself, I guess if it could talk, it would be telling you that it's going to be another notch on its belt and another summer of fun, starting with tonight in the dressing room and going from there. Here we are at the rink, we're ready to unpack. We're inside the arena, ready to go. It's all shined up. We'll see what happens.
Kane, watched by Kimmo Timonen, to the net! Patrick Kane has scored the goal! The Chicago Blackhawks' long drought is over! For the first time since 1961, the Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup!
Let's get it going now, yeah! That's what you call the horseman.
Hey, you took a swipe too.
Spent a lot of champagne drinking the night time.
Hey, maybe just go shower right there, you know? Oh, no.
Hey, yeah.
My arms are going to be so strong from walking around like this for a week. We're never going to have to eat for a drink. No, we didn't. Laddie, first thing Soupy says to me after a win, he goes, we're never going to have to pay for a drink in Chicago again. Might as well get Mad Dog in here. Mad Dog! Where's Mad Dog at? Mad Dog! Mad Dog! Get Mad The greatest city in the world. We have the greatest fans in the world, Chicago Blackhawks fans. And the hat trick, we have the greatest hockey team in the world.
We'd like to welcome, and how good does this sound? Everybody to the Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cup Championship Parade! Two nights ago, this team finished a long journey which started on the ice back in September. They played with passion, with skill. They gave in, they gave of themselves. They never gave up the entire season, including the Stanley Cup run. We are here today to honor all of their achievements. Your head coach, Joe Quenneville.
We had some great moments this year. There's a lot of fun situations. We had some ups and downs, but this is by far the greatest experience, the greatest thing we did all year was right now. This parade is over the top. Wow. Thank you, Chicago. It was a lot of fun over the course of the year, playoff run. We did some neat things that go back to the Nashville series. Scoring late in Game 5 at home, Kaner tying it up on a shorthanded goal, winning in overtime, Host coming out of the box. Vancouver was challenging as well. San Jose was very tight, very competitive, a lot closer than winning in 4. Philly was very hard to play against. It was a great Game 5 and 6, our best. And, you know, Kaner coming through with a huge goal in overtime, and it led to something like today. But thank you very much, Chicago. Feel very fortunate to be here, part of the Blackhawk organization. Thank John. Thanks, Stanley. I'm so happy for Rocky and the Blackhawk and the Wirtz family. And hey, we should all enjoy this. The Cup's here, and we'd love it to stay here a little longer. Thank you.
You know, Miss Sharpie, good old number 10, Patrick Sharp.
Guys, when I came here 5 years ago, never in my wildest dreams did I think that we'd be celebrating this quickly with all of you. With all the hard work from everybody on this stage, everybody in the front office, our owner Rocky Wirtz, and every one of you fans that supported us over the years, we're proud to say that today we're Stanley Cup champions. It's been a long season. We've gotten to know each other pretty well. I think over the course of a year, you tend to learn that your teammates have some pretty special qualities. We got a goalie that can stand on his head. We got a lot of guys that can put the puck in the net. And we got one player that's pretty good at singing songs. Does anybody want to hear a song? All right, everybody, number 32, Christopher Stieg. Let's do a little rap I made up. Every time I dive in my pool, it's hard to be humble. Well, I do a breaststroke through an underground tunnel and come up on the other side in a jacuzzi, being greeted by 2 girls that are wearing my jersey. They give me lots of hugs and kisses, and they ask me what my wish is. I say, go and get your friends, because there's gonna be a party. And in the end, the Stanley Cup is a dream, and I'm like, yes, the pot is popping.
Good old number 2, Duncan Keith.
Hey, what a ride. Thanks for coming out, guys. You know, I don't even know what to say. Best time of my life right now, having this crowd here. Stanley Cup. Hey, who knows a good dentist, by the way? Anyone got a dentist? Yeah, we love it. Just like Sharpie said, guys, you know, 5 years ago coming here with this team, we were down and out, and sure enough, things slowly started to change, and next thing you know, we're hoisting the cup. That's the way it goes. All right, guys, thanks for coming. We're having an awesome time right now. Thank you.
Number 88, Patrick Kane.
Chicago! I want to hear you guys. I want to hear you. I can't hear you.
No, not good enough. Not good enough. Let's hear ya. I'll tell you one thing. This is unbelievable. This is the best experience I've ever been through, and couldn't pursue a better group of guys to win the Stanley Cup with. So it's really a treat to be here. I'll tell you one thing. I'll try to keep my shirt on all summer just for you guys. These guys are unreal. I got my family members here, my cousin. I had 4 buddies come down to the final, but these guys are the ones you do it with. These are the best guys in the world, and I couldn't envision a better moment in my life than right now. Thank you very much.
Your captain, number 19, Jonathan Toews.
Wow. Unbelievable. I didn't know this many people in Chicago. This is unbelievable. You guys are the best fans in the world. That's all I can say right now. We started this thing at the start of the playoffs. It was as crazy as it's ever been at the Madhouse on Madison. But every single game we won, every single time we got closer to the cup, our ultimate goal, you guys got crazier, the city got crazier, and then it's escalating right now. I just couldn't imagine it was going to get to this point. You guys are absolutely amazing. You made this special for us. Each guy in this locker room, each guy is a special guy here. Not everyone gets noticed for what they do behind the scenes, but an amazing group of guys. We all grew up with a dream of doing this. We couldn't imagine doing it in a city like Chicago. Unbelievable. We worked hard and paid the price for each other, but most of all, we want to do it for ourselves, and we want to do it for you fans. You guys are the greatest. Thank you very much.